right, let me tell you my story. So, lived in South Florida my whole life. Always had different types of boats. Bass boats, flats boats, ocean boats, lake boats. So the wife and I decided, save up our money. We're gonna go get ourselves a nice boat. And down here in South Florida, ain't nobody giving those things away. So I started to do all my research, and she fell in love with the deck boat style of boat, cushions everywhere. Went to several boat shows, went up to Orlando to their small boat show, fell in love with some pontoon boats, really like where the pontoon boat technology is going. But overall, just settled with the old fiberglass hull. So found out about Nautic Star and started doing some research. We looked at some of their competition, their hurricanes, and for two teachers, it was just couldn't get the financing where we wanted it for the hurricanes. So we went with the Nautic Star and found out that, you got to go through their specific dealers. So we found our specific dealer down here for Fort Lauderdale area and went to them. And trust them, good people. But they sell all sorts of brands of boats. They're not just dedicated to, Nautic Star. They sell a whole bunch. They're on the Intercoastal Waterway in a very busy area of selling boats. So it's just one of the brands they sell. So we were maxed out on the financing. So when we got the boat, we opted. We got every feature that we could afford with the financing that we could get. And remember, they're not giving anything away. So we left, and the particular trailer that we had was a no-name brand trailer, and it was single axle torsion trailer. And my whole life, I've always had leaf spring trailers. So I wasn't used to watching a trailer be so low to the ground, and threw it on the truck, and from day one, just the trailer always made noises. And the different boat ramps that I go to, I don't go to any of these crazy boat ramps, and South Florida boat ramps are pretty well maintained. I'm not saying the people that are in there operating know what they're doing, but the boat ramps themselves are usually pretty good. So I was bottoming out at 17th Street. I was bottoming out. I couldn't put in at Holiday Park. I was bottoming out before I was getting there. What I mean by bottoming out, the bottom of the trailer, not the back of the trailer, like where a boat ramp is real steep, like the middle of the trailer was hitting the boat ramp. There was that lake up there in Deerfield Beach. I forget the name of it. It's where you get the knife clownfish at, that lake. I bottomed out coming out, and I had to have people help me get out of that. So we had the boat about a year, and had the boat for about 6 months. I really liked it. And as far as the boat handling, it's a great boat. Handles great, great construction. Nothing really came loose. I understand it's a production boat. I understand it's in high demand. They're really blowing up the market with Nautic Star. So what happens is I guess the get 'em out mentality leaves for the fit and finish to be something that would be desired. But I understand, so I'm not saying they're sloppy. I'm just saying it's such a high demand boat, you're gonna make mistakes. So like for the first couple of times I was cleaning the boat, I kept finding all these spare, stainless steel screws and bolts and nuts that were down in the hull, down in the bilge. At least it was all stainless steel stuff, That gave me some hope, faith. And a couple places they had used silicone. They had, really didn't do a good job of cleaning it up. But other than that, that's just me being petty. I mean, I just paid a good amount of money for the boat. Didn't get a great deal. I got a fair deal, so, But anyways, so I go back to the dealership, and I'm like, hey, I want to get the bow filler. I see there's these options that come with the boat. And the dealership really didn't know what I was talking about, so I had to pull out Nautic Star's flyers and show them. and Nautic Star's flyers. They're all sales ads. There's really not too much like how-to information on those. It's just, hey, here's something that we have. You want to buy it? You know. So I went all over the internet. There's hardly any information on like how-to. I think Boat Magazine has a guy that goes around. I think it's Boat Magazine. Sorry if I get that wrong. A guy that goes around and walks through the boat real fast and shows you getting up on plane. He comes back and talks to, I guess, the president of the company, and of course he's blowing smoke because he has to. But there was nothing that like thoroughly goes through the boat. So when I was asking about the bow filler, the sales guy I was dealing with, which I thought was a decent enough guy, says, "Oh, well, I'll contact them and I'll get you the quote." Well, the quote came back; it was over $1,000, and he said it was going to be at least an hour's worth of labor. And from what I could tell from the photos, I didn't know there'd be any labor involved putting that bow filler in. I thought it was just some poles or whatever, bars. And he said, "No, we got to drill stuff down into the deck." So I didn't pay no never mind because it was more important for me to get dual batteries installed, which I did have installed. And then I got a quote on the trolling motor and the sea deck, and it was just more than I was willing to finance at the time. So I let that go. Well, boat runs great. So as far as the handling, the boat's a great handling boat. Gets up on plane, does everything. I took that sucker in less than 2 feet of water, you know. So it's a great handling boat. The only thing I have to say, it's a wet boat. So if you're gonna get out there, especially on the intercoastal, and you got knuckleheads, especially on those wave runners and stuff like that, because I guess the water rules don't apply to them, whatever. So there's always wake. It'll come over the front of the boat. That's for sure. So it's definitely more of a lake boat or a river boat than it is a bay boat. But neither here nor there. We knew that going in. As far as going to sandbars and beaching the boat, it's awesome. You go off the front, you can go off the back. It's got a 9-foot beam on it, so when you pass somebody on the boat, so if the wife's going to the back and I'm going to the front, you don't have to turn sideways. You don't have to put your hands out and hold on. That boat is awesome. As far as trailering, it's like a champ. The only issue that we have in Florida, the wind kicks up like crazy. So you're coming into dock. Sometimes we leave the canopy up. So you're getting pushed around in the dock a little bit. But other than that, it's a great responsive boat. The 115 Yamaha is a phenomenal source of power. I'm not knocking Evinrude or Mercury. I know those are great products too, but I've been super happy with the Yamaha 115. Just a fantastic fit for that boat. It really works. As far as a tow bar goes, Lake Iona, that's the lake up there in Deerfield, Lake Iona. So we went up there, did some tubing, and I'm a type of guy that follows the rules. So I get that boat up on plane. The tube says, hey, don't go faster than 20 miles per hour. That's what we're gonna do. Stay right at 20 miles an hour. And that boat, the little platform they have back there, that bar does a great job. Again, my kid is gigantic. I put my kid out there. He's 300 plus pounds. My daughter, she's a little waif. So the two of them on that tube back there is just doing great. No issues. So back to the Nautic Star. So the company, Marina, Complete Marine. So they gave me that quote of over $1,000 for those. That bow filler kit, and I'm like, flip that. I'm not doing that. So a little bit later on, about a year later,